Let's see how special you
The missions change. They always do.
Isn't this exciting?
Hello and welcome to another very special Dialogue Box podcast. Last time we went through our own personal Game of the Year lists and complained about why games from our own lists weren't on the others. It turns out we've all got pretty different tastes. So, but this time we'll be taking all the games from those lists, discounting remasters and DLCs, sorry, Dory, and arguing with each other until we come up with a collective top 10 list that we can all call the Dialogue Box Game of the Year Super Special Top 10 Games of 2021 Extravaganza Special Director's Cut List. Yeah.
Yes.
I got so excited I melted with the snow.
Great.
Yeah, I want to be upfront here and say about half my list, maybe more, is immediately disqualified. So that's fine.
Yeah. A surprising amount of your
which
list
makes
was
it
like-
easier.
Honestly, it does kind of make it easier, and I'm okay with that because I stand by my picks. So
Yeah, my list is very mainstream, so I don't have that problem. I think.
Yeah, I think
I mean, Mass
if it
Effect's
makes
pretty
you,
mainstream, but yes, I
You
understand.
get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
if it makes you feel any better, I think a lot of Mitch's list is going to get cut straight away as well. Anyway, so
Yeah, Mitch was lone wolf on a lot of this stuff.
I kind of expect my top 5 to be mostly cut, but honestly, I'm not too bothered.
I was mostly talking about your bottom 5, but nice to see that you have confidence.
That's what I said. Oh wait, what did I say? Top 5,
Top
bottom 5.
five,
I
yeah.
mean bottom 5. Bottom
Yeah, that's
5.
fine.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Numbers
as
are
usual,
different in Australia.
yeah, they are.
We're upside down.
They're upside down. Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
exactly.
They're in
Summer there, basically almost.
But yeah, listen,
That
as
is
usual, I'm your host, James Smith, and once again, I'm joined by Doreen Ford, Mitchell O'Brien, and Sebastian Cardone. Are you all ready to kick this thing off?
Y'all ready for this?
I'm saying it through yawns.
Yeah,
That works.
Great. So yeah, in case you missed the first part, we recommend going back and checking it out. But also, just to be clear, we won't be spoiling any plot points from any of the games discussed, so you don't have to worry about skipping around the episode to avoid spoilers. We're going to be very careful about that, just as we were last time. This episode will also probably be shorter because it's not like 4 different top 10 lists that we're going through here.
No.
And last year it was shorter as well. So, but yeah, without further ado, these are the games that we are going to be cutting down from. These are all the games that were on all 4 of our top 10 lists in the last episode. Life is Strange: True Colors, Deathloop, It Takes Two, Forza Horizon 5, Halo Infinite, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Before Your Eyes, Sable, Guardians of the Galaxy, Little Nightmares 2, Resident Evil Village, Scarlet Nexus, The Forgotten City, Returnal, Outriders, Back 4 Blood, Battlefield 2042, Metroid Dread, Tales of Arise, and Psychonauts 2. Alright, so what do you guys want to cut down first?
Okay, so I am
Okay.
fully willing to drop The Forgotten City. I am the only person who's played it. It barely made it into my top 10 over Before Your Eyes, although I would still go to bat for Before Your Eyes being in this list.
Okay, so we're all agreed on getting rid of The Forgotten City on account of not having played it?
Yep.
Yeah. I
Yep.
mean, 2 people not having played it isn't as big of a deal, but 3 people, that's pretty much a done deal.
Yep.
Okay, it's gone.
Yeah. I can pretty much just say with authority, I guess, that Outriders, Back 4 Blood, and Battlefield 2042 that they can go. I'm comfortable with them going unless anyone feels strongly.
Actually,
about them.
I want to keep Outriders on here for now, just because when we talked about it last week, it didn't make my top 10, but I think talking about it last week has moved it up for me, just in terms of how fun it is to talk about, just because of how stupid it is. So I want to keep it there for now. But Back 4 Blood and Battlefield, I'm happy to cut, especially since with Battlefield, I feel like I've gotten a lot colder on it the longer time's gone on.
Yeah, especially with the lack of content that's going on. Yeah,
is
definitely.
That cool with everyone else?
Yeah, I fully support getting rid of both of those.
Yep.
Okay. Great. They're gone. Okay. I think I like every other game on this list. We should probably get rid of Little Nightmares 2, just because like it was
that's
right
what
at the
I was
end of
gonna
my
say
list
next, yeah.
and not on anyone else's list.
What about Sable?
I get rid of
Sable,
Sable first, like before Little Nightmares
I
2.
wouldn't get rid of Sable first. It was my number 8. I feel quite strongly about that game, so I want to keep that one.
Was
in
it
for
on anyone
now.
else's list?
It was not.
I didn't like it very much personally.
But I'm not saying
Except
I'm not
in-
saying that I think it'll make it into the top 10, but I do want to keep it in for
Okay.
now.
Okay, that's fine as long as you're realistic with that.
Yeah, Little Nightmares 2, though, we're getting rid of.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. Okay, well that cuts down a fair amount.
Yeah, we got 7 more than us.
So here's
here's
the thing. Was Scarlet Nexus, I know Scarlet Nexus was on all 3 of your lists, but was it particularly high on any of them?
Scarlet Nexus Scarlet Nexus has to be on the top 10 if all 3 of us have it in our list, I think.
I had it in my number 9, so I'm not too
Well, where was it for everyone else?
bothered if it does make it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm pretty passionate about Scarlet Nexus. I definitely like to see it at least make the contention for top 10.
Okay.
It was 10, 9, 8. It was 7 for me.
It was 7 for me as well.
It was so 7. I both really enjoyed it.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it has to be in the top 10.
I think we are at that point now where we can't straight up cut any more of these so easily.
Well, what about Tales of Arise? I'm sorry, Seb, but
Seb's the only one who's played it,
beside
but he is he's very hot on it. It was like
I
his top
understand
3.
that. I'm not saying let's cut it.
Same thing with Metro Dread and Before Your Eyes, because I only think James
played
Before Your Eyes.
And I'm also passionate
so
about it. I'll argue for it for being in the top 10 as well.
Yeah, I think it deserves a spot in the top 10 for sure.
I would not disagree with that. I think it would be on the low/high end, but yeah, it would.
This is where our impasse is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we probably? I reckon. Because I reckon at this stage it'd be easier to go from the top 5 down than the bottom 10, because I feel like we're going to have more trouble with the bottom 5.
Okay.
In all
so you want to get the strongest picks out of the way?
Get the strong, at least get the stronger ones like in like a vague top 5. Like say, okay, these can be in the top 5. We don't necessarily have to say what's what, but I definitely think we should sort of structure it from strongest to weakest.
Okay,
sure.
If that makes sense.
I think. So here's the thing. It Takes Two, I think, is one of the strongest games of the year. But if any of you had it on your list, it was really low, which is nuts to me. But
I think I mean for Seb and I, just because we haven't finished it yet.
Yeah,
I think it's a given that we don't have it that high.
It was
on
my
our
number
lists.
9, James, but originally it was much higher up. But then a bunch of other games came out. I still really love that game.
Yeah.
Pretty much all the games on my list are 4.5s or almost 5s out of 5. So
yeah,
it's not that the game's bad. It's just that there's so many good games, and I had a couple of sections where I thought the game dragged, and so on and so forth.
I think it probably should be in the top 10, but I would not put it in the top 5.
I agree with that.
And it probably won't be anyway.
I'm fine with it being in the high. Like I would even be okay with it being number 6. Number 6.
I mean, just make it easy. Can we just? We can all put Guardians of the Galaxy in the top 5? Like we all have that on our list.
I think we should all agree on that.
I think I reckon, if in all honesty, I think Guardians would make like a pretty solid 5.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's put Guardians at number 5 for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
nothing is binding here, people.
Of course, this can all change.
No. And I think we can all agree to put maybe Life is Strange in the top 5. Maybe.
I think that's acceptable. I think it's pretty much my number 1, given that we've removed the remasters. And it's James's number 1.
My number
right?
1, yeah, it is.
And so it's got to be at least in the top 5.
I'm happy for you guys to put it there. Yeah.
Okay, where should I put it for now?
Just put it at 4.
Put it
just for now.
Let's just go chronological at this point, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, I'm not sure how well I've got to go in this, but I reckon Village should at least be like, I'm perfectly happy for Village to be the number 10 to concede.
I was
like
also
I did last
prepared
year
to make this compromise with James. That I've been thinking in my head
Yeah.
about how to do this. I'm like, James, if we put Village at number 10, I'm happy. But it has to be in the list.
I think Village has
Yes.
to be in the top 10 because all three of us have it.
Yeah, like I can.
besides
Yes.
James.
I don't think it necessarily has to be number 10.
Okay.
But it should be in the.
Okay.
It should. I think it.
I would like it higher, James. I just didn't want to push my luck.
I mean, we got what
I-
6, 2, and 9. So
Yeah,
it's not gonna be. It shouldn't be 10. It should be higher than that because it's
If-
6, 2, and 9.
I
Yeah.
think. Yeah, but we're not really doing this mathematically. Is the thing. So I think
I'm not doing math. I'm just saying, like, it should be.
Yeah, I know, but like I think if we, I think it belongs in the bottom 5. Is my point.
I agree. That's
Definitely.
fine.
So I'll pop it at
I
10
agree.
for now.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we'll probably move it up later.
Probably.
Yeah.
The thing where it gets
Um,
interesting here, for me is Rift Apart, because like the question is, you'd expect, because it's a new Ratchet and Clank game, you'd expect it to be in the top 10, but I think like, and we all had it on our lists, but I don't think it was that high on anyone's list.
I don't think
It was
I
4
think
on
the
Dory's.
It was number.
I
It was
think
number
we
4
all
for me,
agreed.
so it was
And
pretty
5
high.
for Mitch.
Oh,
And
okay.
5 for Mitch.
I think something at least that some of us agreed on the last episode is that we all felt, well, not necessarily not as strong, but we felt less strongly about it now than we did.
That's fair, but I felt less strong for it compared to the games ahead of it. Not because it was a mediocre or okay game. It was a great game. It's a top 10 game to me.
I will say,
yeah.
like,
just in comparison to like Metroid or Psychonauts or something.
I think it's absolutely got to be in the top
Yeah.
10. I think in the top 5, but I'm not sure.
I will say I
Oh,
replayed the first couple hours of Ratchet and Clank for the intro to these to make the intro to these episodes, and it's a lot more fun than I remembered it being, to its credit. So
I think having it at I reckon we should have it at 6 for now.
Okay.
It seems like a pretty solid 6.
A definitely solid 6. I would like it to be a little higher, but if it's not,
Yeah, I agree. It needs to be in the top 10 in my opinion.
It's a good place.
I have a controversial. Mitch, you want to go?
No, okay, you go, Dory.
Okay,
You go, Dory.
I have a controversial question. How do we collectively feel about Forza Horizon? I know it was very high for James, but I'm sorry that I'm tackling this already. But I have not touched it at all. I don't think Mitch has played it? ? And I know that Seb liked it, but it wasn't in his top 10.
Well, listen, we can't penalize a game for your short-sightedness of not having played it.
Look, I haven't played a sports game, a racing game since frickin' Burnout Revenge. Okay, it's not my fault that it's not Burnout Revenge.
Okay, fair enough. Listen, God, the thing is, I think all of these games deserve to be in the top 10, but there can only be 10.
Yes.
So, but yeah, Forza Horizon
7 more than 10.
Forza Horizon 5 was my 4th favorite game of the year.
Okay.
So,
and I know Seb played it and enjoyed it, so it's not like I'm saying, oh, it shouldn't be on the top 10 at all. I'm just wondering.
Okay, I reckon for now, should we bump Village up to 9 and put Forza at 10?
Sure, for now, that's fine.
Okay, I'm amenable to
it. Depends how objective or subjective I'm aiming for this list. If it's objective, it'd be in my top 10. If it's subjective, I would not put it in my top 10.
Yeah. How do we? God, it's so hard.
Okay, so
because I'm looking at.
I'm gonna
you go.
put Before Your Eyes at number 8 for now. Does anyone object to that?
Okay,
I'm not gonna object.
Look. For now, since we're still assembling it, that's fine. Yeah. But I reckon we'd probably end up either dropping it down over time just to fit everything else in, or ditching it entirely.
Right. I agree with that.
But I was gonna say, I reckon Returnal should be in the top 3 at least. I reckon.
I agree.
Same with Same with, I'm assuming, Metroid Dread for Seb, because I've heard a lot of good things about that, but I'm
Metroid's
happy
the only game on this list that's a 10 out of 10.
I think I might push back a little bit on Returnal, not on it being in the top 10, but on it being in the top 3, just because, I don't know, it really started to wear on me, and I dropped off it very quickly once it started getting super difficult.
I literally was just streaming Returnal. I love it a lot, but I don't know if I'd push it for top 3, top 5 maybe, top 10 definitely.
Okay,
yeah, I'd say it deserves.
Well, all right.
Like
how about we do this, and how about we swap? How about we bump Life is Strange up to 3 and put Returnal in 4 then?
Okay,
that's fair.
Sure. Mitch is the negotiator. Jeez.
I do it a lot at work. It's really interesting.
I mean, that works for me because it means Life is Strange gets pushed up.
Yeah, I thought he'd say that.
It also works for me because Life is Strange gets pushed up. So yeah, and it's not like I don't like Returnal.
Right.
I love me some Returnal.
No. All right.
So Outriders is number 1, right?
Yeah, it looks like Outriders is number 1. Everybody.
Yeah, it's a clear spot. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure. I think at this stage, since we only have like 3 slots left at this point, we should probably start culling a couple of the remaining just to...
Okay,
yeah.
Before we get to Outriders, listen, Seb.
Take Sable out.
I will take Sable out in a minute, but before we get to Sable, how strongly do you feel about Psychonauts 2?
I mean, for this list... I had no expectations of it being on at all because I'm the only one that really enjoyed it.
Here's the thing with Psychonauts 2 is, like, it has the advantage over like Metroid Dread and Tales of Arise in that I have at least played it, but it didn't crack my top 10. So,
I mean, if I had to choose, I'd put Metroid and Tales of Arise over it.
Okay, so
you can take it out.
We're cutting Psychonauts 2
if you want
then.
Although I would put Psychonauts 2 over Before Your Eyes.
But you haven't played Before Your Eyes, so you know. Behold this before your eyes. I'm going to get rid of Psychonauts 2.
I don't think it's probably going to top Psychonauts 2. I'm too big of a
very
double.
impactful.
I'm too big of a Double Fine fan.
It's Games for Impact nominated indie game. Thank you very much.
I was going to play it this week, but I just didn't get the chance.
Damn, it's so good.
Okay, listen. Fine. Before we get to that, I'll cut Outriders. It's gone, and it pains me, but Sable also gone.
Sorry, Japanese Breakfast.
Oh, but that soundtrack is just...
I think...
Oh, God, it's so good. I've been listening to Japanese Breakfast albums recently because of it. Oh, my God. It's so good.
All right, so we're going to get rid of Psychonauts, and then we only have 6 left in 3 slots. So we got 3 extra games here.
You could just take out Tales of Arise, because I know that's not going to have any chance.
Yeah, sorry, Seb.
It's your top 3.
I want it to be in here, Seb, just because I want the JRPG diversity, but I think we're going to get that from Scarlet Nexus.
Yeah, Scarlet Nexus makes it up for it.
Yeah.
Now, if neither make it, then I'll have a problem. But
yeah, listen, I reckon Scarlet Nexus or Tales of Arise, whichever one you guys feel hotter on, should probably go into number 7 slot for now.
Should be Scarlet.
Seb, if you want to volunteer to cut Tales of Arise, I'm happy with that, but I want to hear your fight for it, man. Like, you're hot on this game.
No, because no one else played it, so it's like I'm just yelling into the void, you know?
That's the whole point of this episode, to yell into the void, hope something changes, and then be annoyed when it inevitably doesn't.
I mean, take the rage and the rage. That's the only word I can describe.
I'm too late back to that.
The dreams.
Tales of Arise has better gameplay than Scarlet Nexus and has a better story, and it was a lot more competent, like the story, because Scarlet Nexus story just goes way off the rails with aliens and time travel and all that crap. So Tales of Arise definitely over Scarlet Nexus, but it's just that Scarlet Nexus, me and Dory are very, very high on. So there's an equal partnership there. But Tales of Arise is could have been my game of the year.
Here's my proposition: Scarlet Nexus at number 7.
Yeah,
and it doesn't have to stay there. I'm just saying, if we're gonna put it somewhere, it makes the most sense to be number 7.
Yeah,
it's there.
I would say we can definitely. I would say we should take out Halo Infinite.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love Halo.
I was just about to get on to Halo.
It has no business in the top 2, so.
It has no, maybe not in the top 2, but I think it deserves a spot on the list.
I reckon it's James. I reckon it's between Forza and Halo.
I am deleting
for
Tales
the two
of Arise.
Xbox exclusives.
I'm deleting Tales of Arise.
Okay, Tales of Arise is gone. Here's the thing, and this is, I don't know if it's like recency bias or something else.
Definitely,
but because here's what happened, right? I played a lot of Forza Horizon 5 when it came out, like for a couple of weeks. And I'm at the point now where I don't want to boot it up and play it anymore because I've gotten all the fun I can get out of it. And so it doesn't seem as fun a proposition to me as going back and playing more Halo Infinite. Because the thing is, Forza Horizon 5 was higher on my list than Halo Infinite for good reason. But Halo Infinite left me wanting more. Whereas, and I did everything in Halo Infinite, by the way, and it still left me wanting more. It is impossible to do everything in Forza Horizon 5. And while that is a good thing in some sense, I think it also works to its detriment because I'm pretty burned out on it at this point.
Look, if we're saying replace Forza with Halo, I'm okay with that because I played some Halo multiplayer and I really liked what I played, and I haven't done anything since.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, considering Halo made my list and Forza didn't, then it's kind of a given.
Let's switch it around.
Okay. That hurt, but I did it.
Like objectively, Forza might be the best game of the year, but I'm not a racing fan, so I just can't.
Yeah.
Go for it.
All right. I'm dreading this discussion, but let's talk about Deathloop.
Deathloop is
not on my list at all ever, but I know it's really high.
Yeah, Deathloop's a good. Right? I think Deathloop's a good game that got overrated by the critics. Like it's not a 10 out of 10 game like IGN.
Yeah, it is not. It's not a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, it's good but not great.
It's not
okay.
a 10.
It's pretty solid.
James, damn it.
It's not a 10 out of 10, but I don't think it was hugely overrated. Like I think it was. It's not like the best game I've ever played, but it does a lot of things really well.
It does, but it got 10 out of 10. It was
that's the thing. I think
God of War, like good.
It's not a genre that usually appeals to me. I think if it's a genre that usually appeals to you, then it is a 10 out of 10 game. But for me personally, I didn't enjoy the sort of cohesive experience as much as somebody who enjoys that genre would have. But I enjoyed the parts of it that work really well, that elevate each other. You know, the voice acting, the writing.
Well, where was it in everyone's list? Because I don't remember.
It was number 2 in my list.
It didn't make Seb's? Okay, Mitch, where was it on yours?
It was my number 3, number 4.
Okay, we should at least consider it for...
number 4.
Okay, we should probably consider it for the top 5, maybe?
I don't have an issue with making the top 10, but I would not put it in the top 5.
I wouldn't either, Seb, but I don't know.
Look, I'm gonna do what we call in the business a sneaky one. What if we put Deathloop for now, just for now, at number 9? Then we can push Resident Evil Village up to 8.
Oh, I'm okay with that.
Or
okay.
Let me repeat it.
Village gets put up to 8.
I think Village is.
That's all I care
Village
about.
Is in top 5 to me, but as long as it's in the top 10, I'm happy.
Yeah, same.
I don't have an issue with Deathloop making the list because it got nominated and everything, and it was pretty good. It's just
Deathloop is now number 9.
Honestly, I would have,
in my opinion.
Honestly, I would have had Deathloop in the top 5, but I'm still fairly happy with what our top 5 is.
It Takes Two is not number 1, and neither is Dread.
No,
I've got to say,
I didn't play it.
I'm really liking how this list is looking at the moment, particularly the top 2.
No, that's not staying away.
We will see, my friend. We will see.
Yeah, I mean,
so it comes down to now, It Takes Two and Metroid Dread.
I've got an idea. I've got an idea. Okay, Seb.
If your idea, by the way, Mitch, is to toss a coin, then.
No.
If he was going to toss a coin, he would toss it to his Witcher.
Oh my god.
I mean,
I've only seen 4 episodes.
I've never seen the series. I just know the reference.
Finished season 2 yesterday.
Hey.
Anyway,
Okay,
you work
didn't
fast.
Flex on us.
But okay, you're going to argue for something,
All right,
Seb.
Seb, go ahead.
Metroid. It Takes Two and Metroid Dread. Well, I have no issue either being in the top 10. But Metroid has to be in the top. Metroid 10 is like 10 out of 10. Dread is a 10 out of 10 game.
Here's 10.
Yeah.
It probably is Metroid 10 at this point.
Here's my counter argument to that,
least.
Seb. It Takes Two also has to be in the top 10. The Game Awards Game of the Year winner.
It does, but
cannot not make this
something else getting sacrificed for It Takes Two.
So we have to take something from the top 10 or top 9, really.
Okay, I volunteer Scarlet Nexus.
Before Your Eyes.
I volunteer Before Your Eyes.
Sorry.
No, I don't like that.
It's not even. Before Your Eyes is a good indie. I'm sure it's a good indie game, but we're comparing it to like It Takes Two that won Game of the Year. Now it's time to start eliminating it.
It's not just a good indie game. Like it's such an impactful experience.
It doesn't matter. It's still
incredibly emotional.
I'm sure
it's very powerful,
but it has such a good message.
If It Takes Two is the representation of gaming as a whole, where all the great level design and the characters, and it has emotional moments too, and all that, then Before Your Eyes is nothing over it.
Well, of course not, but I don't think we should be pitting the two against each other. You know, I think we should leave Before Your Eyes alone and pick another target.
I feel like you're like that guy.
Okay, look,
I've got another one. I will not be associated with a channel that does not put Metroid in the top 10. I'm not getting flamed.
Look,
Metroid is the greatest Switch game of the year.
I would be okay if Metroid Dread was number 10 and Halo Infinite was.
I'm not going to be the pony. I'm not going to be on a pony channel.
I would too. I would too.
Seb, what do you think about Metroid Dread being number 10 and for now, and Halo Infinite not being on the list?
I'm totally okay with that.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm okay with that. Like, I feel like...
God damn it, I knew that was going to happen.
I feel like Halo Infinite deserves a spot
I know,
here.
it's a good game, but there's not a lot of meat in the bone for me. I mean, after I played a few multiplayer matches, I was like, yep, it's Halo. It's pretty good. All right, I'm done.
Yeah, Halo's a great game. It was in my top 5, but if I had to choose between Halo and Metroid, that's easy. That's an easy choice.
If I had to pick a weakest link on this current list that wasn't Scarlet Nexus...
Oh, okay.
It would be Resident Evil Village, but
no,
that won't happen because 3 of us have it in our top 10, and we all enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I got a number 2.
Oh man.
Look, I
if you had to choose between, go ahead, Mitch. Sorry,
I was going to say I reckon Before Your Eyes and Scarlet Nexus is the 2 ones I'm thinking that can be cut. Like. Halo Infinite, since it's 10, seems like the more obvious choice to be cut, but I'm also happy for Scarlet Nexus or Before Your Eyes.
We ain't cutting Scarlet Nexus, so
that's the thing is because I want to root for Before Your Eyes because, you know, like I want to stick up for the indie underdog that has like an impactful message because I feel like it's one of those games that like when I play it, I'm sure
it was
I'll
2
feel
hours,
the same
y'all.
way.
You had a whole week. You
motherfuckers
had a whole week.
I still don't think it would have made my top 10 anyway.
Oh, at least we could have argued.
I don't think it would have made my
grounds.
top 10 either. Okay, it probably would have since I had Battlefield in my top 10, but regardless.
All right, well,
I think
look, at least so we can make the field a little clearer, we can just temporarily put It Takes Two somewhere in the top 10 and then take something out to put Metroid Dread in.
Okay, you got it.
All right. It's not going to be number 1, but we can put it somewhere. I don't know where.
Yeah, okay, look.
Okay, now visually, it's at least a little easier. We just need to remove one thing and replace it with Dread. Which, I mean, honestly, is really the whole theme of this entire video. Really.
It's either for me, it's either Before Your Eyes or Halo.
Look, if you're going to make me choose between Before Your Eyes or Halo, like, I'd cut Halo out of the 2.
There you go.
Yes, there we go.
Agree.
There we go.
Then we all agree.
Done deal. All right, let's move on.
Can we? Hey,
but
did I
think Before Your Eyes
with
out,
you
but
guys
you guys
the did I discuss with you guys the possibility of doing an 11 game list?
No.
Okay.
There could
I
only
give
be
you a
10
top 20.
games.
Really, it's like this was a good year.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right, there we go, everybody.
You can spell it, James. There you go.
Do you, for our audio listener, or not audio listener, for our listeners in general, do you want to go over the top 10 as it stands? But this is not the final.
Okay, so the official dialogue box top 10
do
games
not listen
of
to
the
James.
Okay, so the list as it currently stands, number 1 to number 10. It Takes Two, Life is Strange: True Colors, Returnal, Guardians of the Galaxy, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Scarlet Nexus, Before Your Eyes, Resident Evil Village, Deathloop, Metroid Dread.
Question, James.
I have an idea.
Question for the choir. Did you just say Gardeners of the Galaxy? Or was that your typical Scottish flair?
I have no idea, honestly.
It sounded like you said Gardeners of the Galaxy, and I'm like, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
It wasn't intentional if I did.
I think I think it's fair to put Guardians of the Galaxy in the top 3 because we all feel very strong on it. We all really loved it. We all loved it.
I agree with that.
I was just about to say that we could move It Takes Two down to number 3.
It's not because Guardians of the Galaxy I didn't put in my top 5, but I just feel like because we all love it pretty well, like equally. Like we all, I think that's a fair top 3 game because we all feel very strong.
Let's cool our jets here. Let's not get carried away, people.
Okay, Bart.
I think Guardians of the Galaxy is a fine game. It's a fine.
It's number 4.
Game.
You're making it like it's like we're moving it in 10 spots.
This is a fine mic.
Listen, it's bottom 5 material. It really is.
We're moving it up one spot. You're making it like we're moving it 10 spots. It's number 4 already.
It's number 4 temporarily.
Is
that really?
Well, listen. It Takes Two is not number 1 either way. We got to switch it up with something.
It Takes Two, like I really like it. And I have no problem with it being Game of the Year, but none of us are like that high on it for it to be number 1.
Yeah, I love It Takes Two, but it's my number 9. It's not
fair,
number 1.
It's just not fair to all of us to put it at number 1.
I agree with you, but just for the record, it was my Game of the Year for a long time.
It wasn't in part 1. It wasn't in part 1. And that's all that matters.
Okay,
you know what I mean.
Fair enough. Okay, so we're gonna move It Takes Two down to where?
3? No.
3 or 4?
No.
I'd move it to like
3.
I would move it to 4. That way, Guardians of the Galaxy is number 3. But
I agree with that.
That doesn't sit with me.
We could do it temporarily, James.
Okay.
I think this is all still in flux.
I'm just saying, if this is a collective list, like all of us, they're gonna have the most enjoyment out of. I think Guardians of the Galaxy is probably gonna be in the top 3.
Yeah, I agree.
Top 5.
We all equally liked it.
Top 5, I can accept, but
top 5 is where I draw the line.
Honestly,
top 3 games
I'd
of
be
the
pretty happy.
year. Like,
all right, I'm really happy for Before Your Eyes. I'm glad it made it to number 10. The top 10. Sorry, Freudian slip there. But we should really just put it way up on the list.
Way up, like number 1,
bottom of the list.
Dread. Before Your Eyes.
I was thinking either 10 or 9.
I put it at 10.
Yeah, I would put it at 10 or 9.
Because it's the game it's the game where like all of us are like the least high on. So if anything, it makes sense to be at 10.
Yeah.
And then Metroid at 9 makes a lot of sense because I'm the only one really pushing it. So I think 9's fair for Metroid.
Okay, that's fair.
Before Your Eyes was I don't know how high it was on my list. Actually, sorry, carry on.
So I'm very happy.
What's the
Okay.
I was saying, what's the critical thing where it's Resident Evil 7 Village at 7, baby?
It's actually Resident Evil 8.
Yeah, baby.
I'm actually happy with. I think I'm happy with 7 and 8 as well. I'd have Village over Deathloop.
Yeah,
I'm
okay with that. Too. And then Scarlet Nexus number 6. I would actually.
I'd switch. I think I might switch Scarlet Nexus with Ratchet and Clank. I'd put Ratchet and Clank over. I'd put Ratchet and Clank over It Takes Two.
I wouldn't.
I think.
I would. I would. Well, yeah. On my list, I would.
For diversity's sake, and because I think Scarlet Nexus is more unique, I could see putting Scarlet over Ratchet, but I wouldn't be sure about Ratchet over It Takes Two.
Yeah, I'm more
stand.
convinced of Ratchet over It Takes Two than Scarlet over Ratchet.
I mean, looking at our list, It Takes Two shouldn't be over Ratchet. Like, wouldn't make any sense logically. Like, what changed your mind over a week to do that?
Yeah,
because none of you had It Takes, besides like James, I think.
Yeah,
It Takes Two in the top. In
I would have Ratchet over It Takes Two, and then Scarlet over It Takes Two.
Because Mitch had It Takes Two at number 8, and you had it at number 9, and then James had, and I didn't even have it in my list.
I would.
I don't know how it makes top 5 with those numbers.
I would maybe accept Ratchet and Clank above It Takes Two.
Okay.
Scarlet Nexus above It Takes Two. That's a big ask for me.
Well, let's one thing at a time. One thing at a time. Ratchet above It Takes Two, and then we'll discuss it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do that. I agree with that.
We are officially in the hostage negotiation section of this video.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I want to tackle the elephant in the room.
Oh no.
Returnal is too high.
Okay, yeah. No, I agree with that.
Strong disagree. Returnal's a top 3 game of the year by far.
It's
100%.
It's currently number 2, and 2 of us don't think that it's a top 3 game of the year.
I don't think it's and also it's not fair completely for me because I've only beaten Biome 1 and gotten to Biome 2, but I do love it.
And you haven't even beaten the game yet either, James.
Exactly, because it gets to a point. Like, I blasted through the entire first act in a few hours, and then as soon as I got to Act 2, I just fell off it right away because.
But would you not say that's also down to your own expectations though? Because like you said it yourself to me that like you were breezing through the first act and thinking like, oh, this like I'm a god at this game.
Yeah, like did you feel like you were rushing through it just to beat it by the time we got to the videos?
I was trying to play it quickly to beat it, but I wouldn't say I was rushing through it, but I'd argue, Mitch, that like my expectations were set by the game itself. Like by the first act being so easy, that's why I assumed the rest of it wouldn't be as difficult as the second act goes off a cliff.
Why don't we do a compromise here? Returnal at number 3 and Guardians at number 2.
Well, here's the thing. Life is Strange is number 1 for James and number 3 for Dory, and then Returnal is 1 for Mitch and 2 for me. So those 2 should be in the top 3. Like that just makes this logical sense because those are the 2 games where hottest.
Returnal at number 3, then, and Guardians at number 2.
Returnal has to be in the top 3. It just doesn't make it like it's not fair to Mitch and I to have our top 2 games and like not make it for absolutely no reason. Like there's no mathematical.
Well, there's not no reason.
Like, there's no like it's just logical reason. Like logical reason. Life is Strange and Returnal are like the 2 games are
flat
hottest.
Out didn't make James and I's list, so there's not no reason. But
you get what I'm saying.
Like,
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we doing now?
I think Returnal should be number 3, so we compromise with Seb and Mitch on this, but Guardians is number 2. And it doesn't have to stay there.
Okay.
I don't have switch it up with something else.
I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I wouldn't rank it that way, but I don't have if that's what we settled on, I'd be upset.
Returnal moves down.
Cool.
Guardians of the Galaxy moves up for now.
Cool.
Somewhat surprisingly.
Yeah.
I honestly thought it might be our game of the year. I wouldn't have been surprised if it ended up being our game of the year.
Really?
We collectively love it.
Wow.
We collectively like it or / love it a lot.
Yeah, I'm leaning on.
Yeah.
I would because I can't say Life is Strange is the game of the year for me. It's just not. Like I love that game and it's my top 10, but like it was good, but it wasn't like fantastic.
Let's talk about it.
Great.
What makes I don't know, let's pick a game, Returnal, so much better than True Colors for you?
Gameplay, replayability, graphics, sound effects, quality.
Okay.
It feels like a true like it feels.
But
like if we're looking at it 2021, it feels like
it's hard to compare 2 genres. But
True Colors is not trying to be a tech demo for the PS5. That's just not fair.
Here's my question.
You asked me.
Because I know, but here's my question: is that just because of your tastes with the genre difference, or is there some way that True Colors falls short for you that you can now explain?
I'll start because my answer is pretty easy. I haven't played True Colors yet, so take what I see here with a grain of salt. I haven't played it yet.
I think Guardians is going to win it.
That definitely.
But I think with Returnal, it like from my perspective, I had no intention like a lot of you guys to get Returnal at launch because roguelikes are just not my style. Like
shame.
I didn't even love Hades that much. Just to put it in perspective.
That's right. I remember now that I don't like you.
I mean, I'm with you too. I'm with you that I don't like. I'm not a fan of roguelites either. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah, and yet the reviews and all the looks and the art and everything at this game convinced me to go from someone who's like, I'm not spending $125 this game at launch
Yeah.
to I pre-ordered the game, like granted like the day before it came out, but I pre-ordered the game, and I absolutely obliterated it within the first week. Like that's how much
That's what I did.
adored this game, and I can't like it's not perfect. It's not perfect, but I think just weirdly enough, it's one of those games that like I can just sit down and like just play a light and breezy, shall we say, game of it while I'm just chilling around.
Yeah,
you know, like it's that perfect game.
Alien planet trying to kill you. Although that is Australia, so I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Mitch is spot on.
Yeah,
I played that game 35 hours straight. Like I could not put that game down. It was so addicting.
Jesus
I stayed up to like
Christ,
6 in the morning playing that game. Like that game is so addicting.
I sleep. I don't even know.
No sleep till Returnal.
So yeah.
All right.
And now,
so I now don't think Life is Strange should be number 1 because it's not even on Mitch's list, and I would feel weird if we had a collective list that we all agree on. And it's not even on Mitch's list at all.
I'm with Dory that Guardians of the Galaxy should be given.
Counter argument.
Yes.
It would be on Mitch's list if he had played it.
But we can't know that.
Would he though? He's not as high on the series as we are.
That's Schrodinger's Game of the Year. You can't do that. We don't know.
Mitch is,
no, to be fair, I'm not as high on the first game because the acting
all right,
is
Mitch. We know.
But here's the thing, though.
Let's be honest.
But here's the thing, though. A lot of people have an opinion that the first game is better than the second game. A lot of people didn't like the second game as much as the first game. So if you didn't like the first game, then that series is probably not going to be for you. Probably.
To be fair, I went back and
no, it is. No, I'm agreeing, but you're probably not gonna like that style. I'm saying if you didn't like the first game, you're probably not gonna like True Colors. That's what I would think.
I played through, like I started playing through the series again, and like I did end up liking it a lot more. Like it took a little bit to get used to the acting, but overall, like I still did enjoy it. So, and I mean, as I said earlier, I've got Battlefield in my list, so it more than likely would end up in my top 10.
Here's my take though, like it just feels weird to have a game that's Game of the Year where I don't feel it's like Game of the Year, and then Mitch didn't play, and like there should be a game that all of us collectively feel like we're most passionate about. Like we all love it equally.
James, you know, it's pretty much my Game of the Year, but I do have to agree with Seb. It would feel weird.
It doesn't make logical sense, like to put a game that one of us didn't play, and then another one is not of us, and then I have it at 10. So it just doesn't make sense.
It's the same. It'd be like if we put Forza Horizon 5 as Game of the Year, James.
It wouldn't make any sense.
It wouldn't, because I love the True Colors. It's pretty much my number 1, and Seb had it on his list as well. So
do you know what also doesn't make sense to me though? Is having our number 1 Game of the Year be a game that has hideously bare bones gameplay.
I don't think it's hideous. No,
is this Life is Strange?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
The gameplay is fine.
It's fine. Yeah, it's fine, but it's not good. Like it's not great.
No, it's not
Game of the Year.
That gameplay.
You know me. I've said the gameplay is not as great as I wanted it to be, but it was still quite good and fun. Like it wasn't bad.
Yeah,
but quite good.
It was just the weak. It was just the weak part of the compared to.
That's a pretty big weak part. That's like half of the game.
But weak's a strong word. I don't mean like it was terrible. It was just like it was just a little redundant. It was overly long, but I have zero problems with Guardians of the Galaxy number 1. Like honestly,
I agree with that.
If I was doing a collective list, don't get me wrong, Metroid or like Tales of Arise or Psychonauts would be like my top 3. But if we're doing a collective list as a whole, I would think the Game of the Year would have to be a game that we all universally enjoy. Like last year was easy because all of us loved Last of Us Part 2, so that would have won easily.
Where was Guardians on everyone's list? Let's go over it.
It was 9 for me.
I think
it was 6 for me.
It was
5.
I believe it was 3. It was my number 3.
So 6, 5, 3, and
funnily
9.
enough, I had it the highest out of all of you, and I'm probably the one. I mean, maybe not so much as James, but I'm like I don't think it should be number 1.
But it makes the most sense.
At the same time, yes, I do agree. It makes the most sense.
The 2 most consistent games on our list was Ratchet and Clank and Guardians of the Galaxy. Like those are the highest numbers for all 4 of them.
above Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, but all of them are in our top 5 or 6, pretty much. Well, like for all of us, I think those 2 games are on all of our top 6 besides James.
All right. Well, so here's what I'm thinking.
You know what I mean?
Why don't we put? We could move Ratchet up, and move Life is Strange down to maybe.
Okay, so move Ratchet up above
2 or
Returnal
3?
and move Life is Strange below Guardians.
I think so. Well, I would have to see visibly, but yeah, I think so.
Say it again.
So I'm going to move Ratchet and Clank up above Returnal and move Life is Strange down below Guardians of the Galaxy.
As a collective list, I'm totally okay with that. As my own list, that's horrendous. But
but it's not about you; it's about us.
Exactly. So I am totally happy with doing that. Yes.
Anything can change.
Great.
It just looks like looking at our list. That seems like the most consistent pattern that I'm seeing.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Seb. You're not wrong.
Yeah. So if we if we move Guardians, I think I'd be happy with this list.
Okay.
Actually, I'm pretty happy with this list, honestly.
I still have things.
Honestly. Okay.
I'm okay with this list too, but
we'll hear you out.
I
we'll
knew.
Hear you out.
Yeah, James has things.
I know.
James has
this
things.
Is partly because partly because we haven't been going for so long, and I want to extend this episode a bit.
Don't artificially extend it.
No, but also, yeah.
Don't pull a Guardians of the Galaxy and artificially inflate your runtime, James. It never ends well.
The thing is, as well,
wow. Rude.
Last year I had Dreams to fight for. This year, I don't know that there's a game apart from True Colors that I really want to fight for it being in the top 3. I think it takes.
It's number 2. It's number 2.
I know
it's number 2.
Exactly. So I think, but It Takes Two is still in the top 5. So I can't say that I don't know that I'm annoyed about it.
Wait, you want higher or lower?
Because
I mean, hey, if you want
my preference,
I don't think It Takes Two can get any higher.
My point is I'd preferably put It Takes Two higher, but I don't know that I could argue with it making the top 5 because I feel like I've gotten a good deal here.
You really have
that, and the fact that Seb and I haven't finished it yet, so we can't. I mean, granted though, we have Life is Strange, and I haven't even started it, so I'll just be off to the side.
Okay, listen,
It Takes Two is 9, not on my list, and 8.
Yeah, and then I really think 5 is a good spot for it.
I think 5 is probably maybe a little generous, if anything.
Yeah, it's honestly probably a little
which I don't have a problem with. That's a good compromise, but I'm just saying.
Yes, I agree. If I had my way, I'd put Village and Nexus over, or Village and Scarlet over It Takes Two. But
yeah,
if I had my way, I think I'd put Deathloop over Village and Nexus, obviously. But listen,
Metroid would not be 9 if it was up to me.
Let's
why don't we read out the list and to the audience and see how we feel after we read out the list?
The list as it currently stands.
It's like therapy. It's like therapy. I swear to God, it's like therapy.
It's like therapy. It rhymes.
Number 1 to 10: Guardians of the Galaxy, Life is Strange: True Colors, Ratchet and Clank: Rift Apart, Returnal, It Takes Two, Scarlet Nexus, Resident Evil Village, Deathloop, Metroid Dread, Before Your Eyes. I really need you guys to convince me some more about Guardians of the Galaxy because I swear to God, the gameplay. It just doesn't do it for me.
Look, all right. Look. I really like the gameplay. I think it's varied enough. I think the effects are really good. I think it emphasizes the most important part of that game, which is teamwork, very effectively. The teammates don't run to you; they just teleport to where you are, which is a really cool idea. You always feel pretty powerful. I mean, I know Peter Quill's normal gun just feels like a pea shooter. But every other thing that they do collectively seems really powerful.
That's the thing.
The huddle mechanic. The huddle mechanic's so good.
Here's the thing. Okay, I a couple points on that. Sorry, Mitch. The gun does feel like a pea shooter. The abilities are great, but the gun does feel like a pea shooter, and you're using it most of the time. You're just holding down the trigger and locking onto somebody.
Right, but you do have the different elements, which I think are fun.
Yeah, but you barely use those, and it's it's mostly just.
I thought it was fun. My issue was more with the redundancy of the combat. Not that it was boring.
You're mostly just locking onto people and shooting, and the gun doesn't feel very satisfying to use. And on the huddle mechanic, I do think it's kind of cool, but it also kind of breaks up the gameplay a bit. Like I was finding myself.
I mean, I like that.
I was
it gives
finding
you a second to like calm down and like think about things. And...
Yeah, but towards the end of the game,
if we talk,
towards the end of the game, I was finding myself like using it and just thinking, okay, I just want the bonuses here. I just want this to be. I want this animation and everything to be over.
And also the kick-ass music track. I mean, have you ever Rick-rolled your enemies before in a video game? I haven't. I haven't.
That song, the music is in the final boss.
I think the music is great. If only I could get it without having to do the huddle thing, you know.
I think the huddle's so good.
I'll say this: speaking purely on ludonarrative harmony, I think this game nails it. No,
okay.
There's numerous. There's like because I think all the abilities, like for the most part, organically gain them at a steady pace throughout the game, and like for each of the characters' ultimate abilities, like. It's not like you've leveled up this character enough to get their ultimate ability. Like it happens at an important point at the story, and it feels like the gameplay and the characters' abilities are all attached to their growth in the story. And I feel like if we like target gameplay purely as the main point at which we determine whether or not Guardians is number one or not, I feel like we're kind of missing the point because, like, to some extent, a lot of the gameplay falls back onto the story, and like that's the crown jewel of what the developers were trying to go for here.
Yeah,
which
I really think the gameplay
respect.
Is secondary in this game, if not tertiary. Honestly, and who doesn't love a good tertiary?
If I could, okay, there's two. We can split Guardians of the Galaxy up into two parts: the gameplay and the story. The story, obviously, I think we can all agree, the strongest element by far.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Still not as strong as True Colors by any margin.
I would agree with that, but still,
it's an excellent story. Not as good as True Colors. The gameplay,
considering
obviously,
the game it is though.
Like you could argue that, like you can't kind of compare the gameplay of Life is Strange and Guardians of the Galaxy.
No,
but you can compare the gameplay of Guardians of the Galaxy and Ratchet and Clank. And Ratchet and Clank is 10 times better for gameplay than Guardians of the Galaxy.
Gameplay-wise, but not story-wise.
Not story-wise.
Gameplay-wise, I care about gameplay.
So do
Gameplay-wise, the thing with Ratchet and Clank, and I mean, this is just me, but I feel like with Ratchet and Clank, there's how do I explain it? Like, there's just too many similar classes or types of weapons, like to the point where, and I highly doubt you guys didn't do the same thing. Where every time enemies pop up, you got a weapon like the topiary sprinkler out. Immediately, that was your first option. And then you went to either one of the Mr. Zircons, and then you went to the bombs, and then you went to like some high DPS weapons. Sure, it may be a wide list of weapons, but ultimately you still used the same.
I would say by the end. I would say by the end, Ratchet did get repetitive for me. I had literally a routine every time enemies showed up by the last like couple hours of I knew exactly what weapons I was going to use and how. And that doesn't mean it wasn't satisfying or it wasn't well done or I didn't enjoy myself. But I mean, we're getting into minutia at this point because we're talking top 5.
At least Ratchet doesn't overstay its welcome, which Guardians does. But it's not because the gameplay was boring. It was just because it was just redundant.
I feel like
use more from Ratchet. Honestly,
that's the thing. Like, I feel like Ratchet doesn't overstay its welcome, but it's also a criticism in itself.
I also
Ratchet just ends really.
But what are we arguing to change here, though? Guardians of the Galaxy being number 1?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Like, we can't put Life is Strange number 1. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Here's the thing.
It's just
so I think what James is arguing for is for Rift Apart to be number 1, but I'm not okay with that.
I don't know. I'd put Rift Apart above Guardians is basically what I'm saying. But listen, here's the thing, Mitch. Your argument about the gameplay in Rift Apart being weak because you fall back on the same things in every fight. It doesn't.
I feel like you're about to say that.
It doesn't work for me because you do the exact same thing in Guardians of the Galaxy.
I think it's a problem.
And also,
the
gameplay is just not as fun in Guardians of the Galaxy.
The gameplay is both fun in both games and redundant in both games. Where Guardians of the Galaxy is better than Ratchet and Clank for me is the story, the characters, the little moments. It's more memorable. Things like that.
I agree with you, but I feel
like
I would be more open to the idea of this if the gameplay was
I swear to God, James, if you pull the gameplay is king bullshit out of
listen, I'm always, I love story. I'm a story person, story is king. But
gameplay is king.
If
story is king,
gameplay is king, but it's not as bad as you're making it to be.
Listen, a story is king, but the gameplay in Guardians of the Galaxy is not like, if it was good, not great, I'd be okay with this. I don't think it's even good. I think it's passable.
No,
I think it's good. I think that's what we disagree.
No, I don't think it's great, but I think it's good.
Yeah, I agree.
It's the best, most varied combat we've had in a superhero game since the Ark.
It was too fun for it to be.
Yes. All right.
Tell me
what. No. Tell me what other superhero games have had combat other than the. That's just a variation of the Batman one.
What? No, it's not.
It kind of is.
It's melee combat. That's the only similarity.
It's based off of Arkham in a lot of ways.
It's inspired by
most games are.
The developers literally said that they based a lot of their.
I mean, it's inspired by Arkham, but it's like more aerial. You can
only do third-person action games so many ways, though. Like you can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I'm not saying it was bad. Miles Morales was basically my game of the year.
Think about it, though.
Close to it last year.
If in that argument, though, that kind of gives Guardians of the Galaxy brownie points because they mixed up the formula. They did something new.
But that doesn't.
They did.
You can mix it up and it can still be shit.
But it wasn't shit.
I can't hear you guys.
All right, Mitch. Go ahead, Mitch.
I can only just hear a bunch of robotic garbling.
Oh my God.
You probably have to cut this out of recording, but all I hear is just robots and Poe just garbling at each other.
I think you're having like a Peanuts thing where the little kids are trying to listen to what the adults are saying, and they're going,
Give me a second.
Yeah, I'm at one bar.
Okay.
But James, what is your argument though? What are you trying to push for? I'm not understanding what you're trying to push for though.
I'm trying to push. I don't mind which order we put Life is Strange and Ratchet in. I'm pushing for Guardians of the Galaxy to be moved down.
But what's going above it? That's what I'm asking you.
The things that are currently below it.
I think he's pushing for Ratchet because we can't agree on Life is Strange, so he wants Ratchet.
Are you arguing for Ratchet and Clank to be the game of the year?
See,
James?
To be honest, I would put what I would do is move Guardians of the Galaxy below Life is Strange and Rift Apart. And then I would be fine with either order of Life is Strange. And
I don't think Life is Strange is game of the year. It's not. I don't even have it as a 9 out of 10. It's like an 8 out of 10 game.
So I would personally be satisfied with Rift Apart number 1, True Colors number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy number 3.
Look.
No, I think Guardians of the Galaxy is too. I think it's just too consistently good for all of us for it to be.
I can't agree with that, James. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can't agree with that.
Thing is,
hang on.
I'm
sorry.
Okay.
What?
Where is Guardians on your list, Story?
Guardians? I think it's number.
I'll say it again.
5.
James, it's 9 for me. I mean, Dory, it's 5.
Dory is 5. Where is Ratchet on your list, Dory?
Mitch is 3, and me, it's
not my number 3.
It's 6.
My number 3.
All right, look, that's not the point, James. We don't need to talk. No, you're right. It's number 4.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So it's higher. Rift Apart is higher on Dory's list.
Is it higher on anyone else's list, though?
Yes, it's higher on my list.
Okay.
Ratchet is number 8 for me.
Wait, and where is it? Where is Guardians?
6.
Okay, and Mitch, what about you? Guardians is number 3, right? And
Guardians is number 3.
I can't put Ratchet over Guardians. Guardians is a better game than Ratchet.
6 or 5. It was number 6 or 5.
So this doesn't fucking help because two of us think
they're pretty much ranked pretty much the same.
Look, yes, if it was my personal list, I would have Ratchet over Guardians, but it's our collective list. I think Guardians makes more sense to be over Ratchet.
Okay, that's fine. I can listen. Here's the thing: I'm okay with Guardians being ahead of Ratchet. I'm just not okay with Guardians being ahead of True Colors because that doesn't feel right to me.
Why?
You know, because True Colors is just 10 times the game. Guardians
this is a collective list.
No, I know it is.
That's just your opinion, though.
It is my opinion, but
this is a collective list.
That's what I'm giving you my opinion.
Mitch didn't play it, and I had it at number 10. So how is that number 2 somehow?
No, look.
Makes no sense.
I'll just say this. I kind of went into this discussion expecting Life is Strange True Colors to win, and I do not mind if it does win. Like
no.
I
here we go. It's all coming together.
What I'm saying is that it doesn't have to win, but I'm not I don't necessarily agree with just because. What were you gonna say, Seb?
It doesn't make sense to have a game of the year where you didn't play it and I had it at number 10. It just doesn't make sense.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, but
Guardians of the Galaxy and Ratchet and
10.
Clank seem like the easy picks is 1 and 2.
If it doesn't make sense to have a game where like one person didn't play it as the game of the year, then what you're going to end up doing is defaulting to a game that was at everybody's number 9 or 10, and just be game of the year because everyone
Guardians
played
is
it.
number 5, and honestly, removing the remasters means it's my number 2 or number 3. So
not only that, like it's Guardians of the Galaxy is like in all of our top 6s, like consistent. Like it's the highest.
It's my number 9.
Well, besides you, like all like Mitch, the 3 of us, it's like in our top 6, isn't it?
Yeah, but is it in everyone's top 5?
Because Mitch's number 3 and you're number 6.
Dory's 5. I'm 3. I'm 6, and Mitch is 3. That's like the highest rated game.
It's in my 3. Ratchet was my number 5.
So it's in the bottom half of 2 of our lists.
I feel significantly less strong over Ratchet and Clank just because it's a solid game. I don't think it outside of the the Rift technology and it pushing the SSD loading times to the max in some areas. I don't think it particularly excels in any areas. Guardians absolutely excels in story, and contrary to what James is claiming, the gameplay was really fun as well.
Yeah.
So and to put it in perspective, Guardians was probably the best superhero game we've had since Arkham City, because before you bring up Spider-Man, I don't know what to say. As much as I really love Spider-Man, I've put fucking 250 hours into that game, but even I'm like, I think Guardians is just a superior game.
Here's the thing,
honestly.
I think Guardians has, and this is coming from a True Colors defender who's logging on here. Thank you. I think Guardians is just a more gameplay wise. I know we can't compare the gameplay, but we're running out of things to talk about here. So gameplay wise, Guardians is just more interesting than True Colors, and I love True Colors. It's basically my game of the year if you remove remasters / recuts or whatever you want to call it, Disco Elysium.
Well, here's the thing for that argument. Yeah. I prefer no gameplay to bad gameplay.
But it's not bad. No one but you thinks it's bad. Everybody else thinks it's
Everybody
good.
Else thinks it's good / great.
Above average, at least.
Okay, here's the thing. I will commend Guardians of the Galaxy for having a stronger story than Rift Apart. It has quite a margin.
Yes. Quite a large margin.
For that gameplay.
Okay, all right, let's not get carried away. There's a lot of good story moments in there, Mitch. Let's not get carried away.
Moments.
But
yes.
Whatever.
But yes. I'm pretty happy with the list as it is now. I would put Ratchet over Life is Strange, but I'm fine how it is right now. I don't have a problem with this.
I mean, if it makes people feel a little more comfortable, James, I know you're not going to necessarily like this, but we could put Ratchet above Life is Strange and have it at number 2.
No, not unless. No, I won't accept that unless Guardians gets moved down.
Guardians,
that's moot then.
It just doesn't make sense for Life is Strange to be above Guardians of the Galaxy.
I tried,
it makes logically no sense.
Okay, here's the compromise. I will shut up about Guardians and let it be our game of the year.
Okay.
Okay.
You will grant me It Takes Two moving above Returnal.
I'm okay with that.
I mean, the person in the background agrees, so yeah, I agree.
Seb?
If that will get you to shut up, then yeah.
Excellent.
I mean, It Takes Two is a great game, and it'll probably move up high in my list once I beat it. Yeah, so I really don't have an issue with that.
It was on my list, and Returnal wasn't, so I have no ground to argue against that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's
our list.
Wait, we're all forgetting. No, we're all forgetting something.
Shut the fuck up, Mitch.
We're forgetting the Matrix Awakens, the greatest piece of gaming, not literature.
Wait, everybody, what about Godfall PS4 edition?
Yeah, that one.
I do have one spanner actually. What if What if? What? Hear me out. Hear me out.
What if was indeed a fairly mediocre Marvel show? I do agree, James. Anyways,
I think it was one of the stronger.
So the final list.
What if we replaced Guardians of the Galaxy with hear me out. Outriders.
Dreams.
Dreams.
No, I'll take Outriders.
No. You said it. You said it, Mitch. You said
it. What a story, though, for Guardians of the Galaxy, for us to be all so lukewarm on this game, and most people look very lukewarm on the trailers and everything, for it to be our game of the year.
Not yet.
We haven't
finalized yet.
I figured this would happen.
We're finalized.
I forgot to lobby for Mega Penguin Rehatched.
Damn, gonna have to get him next year.
Guys, we're all forgetting Destruction All Stars.
No, we're not.
This was a tough year.
Wait, was Destruction was that this year?
It was. I know, right?
Yeah. It was like February or January.
I forgot as well.
Seb and I played the night it came out, and we were both like, "Yeah, so we're never playing this again." Right?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Okay, so that's everyone's happy.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, well, going from number 10, our official top 10 games of the year are Before Your Eyes at number 10, Metroid Dread at number 9, Deathloop at number 8, Resident Evil Village at number 7, Scarlet Nexus at number 6, Returnal at number 5, It Takes Two at number 4, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart at number 3, Life is Strange True Colors at number 2, and our game of the year for 2021
How did this happen?
is somehow Guardians of the Galaxy.
By rejecting the promise, you have proven yourselves unworthy, and you must be destroyed.
I don't know how this happened. We all hated the fucking thing. We all thought the trailer sucked.
Feeling.
We just, I don't know how it happened, folks.
James, just add in a bunch of streamers and stuff like over the screen right now. I have a bunch of
James,
like kids
you have to
cheering.
get the cool graphic for this.
Just remember, guys,
on Twitter.
We are Groot.
We are Groot. That's right.
We certainly are not. Okay, does anyone
know, James?
James is finally sold out to Marvel. Everybody,
you could say you're strong enough to have it all, but
and guess what? In 2023, Wolverine's gonna be our game of the year.
Oh my
God! Someone please clip that so that if it does happen, we can play this back.
Marvel's taking over, baby. Let's go.
Okay, well, on that note, thanks so much for joining us and making it to the end of the show. That's all for us. That's all from us for now. But we'll be back for our regular show very soon. So have a fantastic week. Goodbye.